What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at this 2024 Subaru Impreza RS. This one's finished off in magnetite gray metallic, has an MSRP about $31,000. So let's go ahead and take a full look at what this hot hatchback is going to have to offer. So underneath the hood, popping the lever, and then just finding the latch under here, we can take a look at this motor. So this is going to have the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder boxer motor. It's pumping out 182 horsepower with 178 pound-feet of torque paired to a CVT transmission and an all-wheel drive system. Now this car also runs on a 16.6 gallon fuel tank, and you can expect 26 miles per gallon in the city with 33 out on the highway. If we take a look at some of the styling details, get a nice set of headlights. They're pretty aggressive, got the silver and black accents to them, and I like how there's a lot of bodywork right here, just really aggressive looking. It all points right towards that Subaru badge in the center. Get some gloss black trim, logo in the center of course, and then some mesh with a lot of openings to provide maximum cooling. On the farthest side, you're going to see one of the fog lights, more trim, and some black texture. And then throughout the center, we get this golf ball texture on that front splitter. There's active grille shutters back there to improve efficiency when needed. Overall, pretty good looking car. You can definitely see the WRX in here as well, which is the sportier version of the Impreza. You can see sharp body lines throughout the hood leading to that windshield, and we get part of Subaru's eyesight system, which is all of their safety and driver's assistance. Making our way towards the side profile now. Pretty nice sharp lines throughout the front bumper that wrap around. Then you also get a nice set of 18-inch wheels. Finished in a gray color, kind of matches the bodywork on this car, and then a nice sharp body line throughout the fender. You're also going to get that RS badge on the door, a few clean body lines throughout the side profile, and then a nice rocker panel for that side skirt finished in more gloss black. Get gloss black on the mirror, along with your turn signal, some plastic, body colored door handles, and then all black trim surrounding the windows. Up above, we get that sunroof and shark fin antenna, and then the entire side profile. It's a hatchback, so it kind of looks exactly what you would expect. Pretty good proportions overall, pretty decent sized vehicle. It's not too small. And then towards the rear, I like how the rear fender kind of has some sharp body lines to it, just to add to some of the aggression. You can also see a spoiler mounted back here, integrated brake light, some trim surrounding it, and then a nice set of LED taillights. They're three-dimensional. We do have a halogen bulb here for the turn signal, but overall nice size and look. You can also see some sharp lines throughout the rear end surrounding the license plate frame. Got the all-wheel drive logo and Subaru on the left, RS and Impreza on the right, and then some nice contours throughout the rear bumper. Get more of this golf ball texture along the plastic for that rear diffuser. Pretty good looking car. You know, it does have a cool style to it. Really can't complain. And then underneath the Subaru badge, we have a button. Can easily manually lift that up. There is a privacy cover that you can easily remove, and then you can see just how much more storage space you're gonna get. It's a pretty practical hatchback, and you can also lift the floor up with hidden storage space, all of our tire changing equipment, and then even little cubbies on the far left and right side. Now you can remove this piece as well. So just pull this up and just kind of get this out of the way. And then from here, there's even things you can pull and get these seats nice and flat. So I like just how much space you're gonna get. Of course, being a hatchback really opens it up to be a pretty roomy car. Then if I go through the side, you can see how they're gonna fold down nice and flat. So definitely a practical car. Now, if we go ahead and sit back here, if we just pull this one up, you have a cool interior for this car. And if I just set this back a little bit, in the center, you can pull this seat down, and you're gonna get armrests and cup holders, of course, an adjustable headrest, and then your only amenities are 2 plugs and a little bit of storage. But sitting back here at 5'11" with the driver's seat at my height, I got plenty of legroom and knee room, a couple inches of headroom actually since the ceiling dips upwards, and there's a lot of glass, so it doesn't really feel too compact or confined. Got good armrests on the left and right side. So honestly, for even a family of 4, this really would be a decent car. Plenty of practicality. Person in the middle might be a little cramped, but honestly, this is not bad at all. So let's move on to the driver's seat. There is some plastic along the rear door panel, get a little bit of red stitching, and then on the front door panel, a little bit nicer with the black fabric material. You're gonna see the same black vinyl with stitching, grab handle, of course all of your controls, and this even features a Harman Kardon audio system. Now I do like the aluminum pedals, which is a pretty cool touch. Then all of our power controls for the seat. You have forwards, back, lumbar support. And then along the seat, you get this cool red material, really nice material in the center. So pretty cool triple tone along these seats. Just adding to the little bit of sporty touch the RS is gonna offer. And then hopping inside, let's go ahead and fire it up. So we're gonna get a black leather steering wheel with red stitching. And then moving to the gauge cluster, we have the tach on the left with your speedometer on the right. And you can use these controls to toggle that upper screen and see a few different things within the car. So like I have just enough information to see. There are paddle shifters as well to control the CVT transmission. Basically, it'll hold a pre-selected position in the transmission to kind of hold a gear better. We have cruise control settings on the right side, your steering intervention. We also have the forwards pacing, and then our 2 drive modes. You can easily toggle those depending on how you'd like to drive it. Bluetooth and audio controls along with volume. Then your stock on the right side is for windshield wipers, and then turn signals and headlights are all on the left. We have interior dimming, one of your air vents, and mainly just black plastic around the dashboard. This plastic material kind of matches the fabric, so it has some texture to it. You also have the metallic gray, and then this massive infotainment screen. Up on top, you're able to adjust a few different things, just see a few vitals within the car. You have all of your different settings within the vehicle as well. You can scroll left and right. Of course, if you go into radio or anything, you're going to see all of that pop up with Sirius and things like that. We have this icon right here. You can change quite a few things. And I like how if you adjust the cruise control, you can actually adjust how it's going to accelerate when the car is driving basically by itself in bumper-to-bumper traffic. The radar cruise control, you can actually do that, which is a really cool touch. We have the auto start stop. A few more settings you're able to adjust as well. So I like all the adjustments you're going to get in it. It seems pretty easy to use, and you have quite a lot. And then the home screen icon, you can easily toggle back and forth. We have your driver profiles as well, easily configure. And then climate control is always going to be down there. You have all of your different settings you can easily adjust. And I like how once we're in reverse, you're going to notice the climate control is still there. So if you're in reverse or something backing up and you want to make an adjustment, you're still able to adjust that while the backup camera is turned on. So I think that's a really cool touch. Now there are some physical buttons. We have your temperature, front defrost, volume, tuning and scrolling, and then the other controls on the right side. So not a bad system. Definitely pretty cool to see that. Now down below we have a wireless phone charging pad, a few of your USBs, then our shifter right in the center. You have this cool vinyl material for the shift boot with more red stitching, all of your controls for the parking brake, heated seats and cup holders, and then some nice storage down below that along with more red stitching. Pretty typical glove box as you would expect. And then a black headliner with a manual sunroof. You can see all of that, dome lights as well as your mirror. So with all that said, let's go for a spin. Alright guys, we are setting off now in the Impreza. So using a CVT with paddle shifters, it's interesting. It's basically a cool way to hold revs, I would say. There's obviously no gears in a CVT. However, there are predetermined sections that the belt within the transmission will go within these gears. So kind of cool that they've done that. It works okay. I highly doubt anybody would actually use the paddle shifters in this car unless maybe you're just going up a dirt trail or something like that. But if we go back into the normal mode and everything, it's a pretty normal car to drive, I would say. There's nothing all too fancy about it. The technology does work really well. Now we're on some back roads, so the lane keeping and steering intervention may not work all the time due to the lanes, but when you're on the highway, it works really well. It'll follow the lane perfectly, the distance pacing and everything, I'm really impressed with. So the eyesight system and all their tech does a great job just kind of driving by itself, especially when you're on the highway. You can kind of just sit back and relax, and the car is going to stay in a lane for you very well. It's not even going to wander or anything. So I really like that technology. Visibility is really good in the car. You have a huge windshield. Of course, the extra pieces of glass really make the front view fantastic. And even over your right and left shoulders, really no blind spots. This is a normal car to be in, just feels very open. One thing that impressed me is how smooth this drives. You know, it's not a crazy expensive car, 31 grand. The suspension is really soft. It's just super comfortable to drive in this car. And the seats are very nice and padded. There's a lot of squish to that. I mean, it's actually really nice to be in. I'm gonna take this on a mountain trip this weekend, drive probably a full tank of gas in 2 days, and I'm not sweating at all. I think it's gonna be just a comfortable trip, just cruising in this car. You have really good leg room, arm room, everything like that. It just feels like a comfortable car. So I wasn't expecting it to feel just that nice and comfortable. Road noise and wind noise is not bad either. It's pretty decently quiet on the highway. You do hear the engine. You know, if you have to floor it or something, getting up to speed, being the CVT, it's kind of a little bit of a noisy engine, but nothing crazy if you're keeping the revs under 3,000. It's pretty normal and comfortable to live with. The tech also works pretty nice for the interior. It's not too difficult to get used to it, and everything's big enough to where, while being touchscreen, you don't have to, like, you know, kind of be bouncing around trying to find everything. So the screen is a pretty nice integration. So it seems like kind of just a decent car just to drive around in, rack some miles up. You know, the brakes seem to do a good job coming to a standstill. It's not necessarily a fast car. The 2 drive modes, I mean, it makes it a little bit more aggressive when you're in the S mode versus the I mode, but, you know, it's not a sports car. Pretty solid going over some big bumps like that. And while it only has 100-something horsepower, it's not fast. It's peppy enough, I'd say, for the typical person just getting up to some speed. Even getting on the highway, I didn't really have any issues. So it seems like a normal power plant for just kind of the typical person looking to get from point A to point B. And I think, yeah, the smoothness of the way it drives, the suspension, just the comfort level, especially with the power seats and stuff like that, I wasn't expecting it to be that smooth. So smooth car to drive for sure, very roomy and practical, and just kind of an easy car to drive.